If you have a small home or cottage, I hope today's session will give you some tips and tricks on how to begin in an art-centric way with an interior. So let's take a walk through a 677 square foot cottage that I recently renovated. It's a rental that I own, and I offered it furnished this time, so it gave me a chance to really use my creativity and redecorate it according to my own ideas. So, if you begin with a piece of art, it can really help you establish the color spectrum or palette for your design work. And I chose this piece at a local vintage store because it had reds and blues and some greens in it, little hint of yellow, not a lot of orange, but I do have some hints of orange in the house. Moving down to the rug, this also was a great initial find because it had the oranges, the reds, the aquas, the navy, and the yellow and the white. And I know that many designers encourage you to stay with, 3 or 4 colors. But honestly, as an artist, I mean, sometimes it's not that cut and dry. And you really want to mix things up by illuminating a room through the colors that you choose and not make it appear too cookie cutter. There was a time when, people would just use 2 or 3 colors only. So I think, especially in a room, you can go with more. You just have to make sure that you have either art or a rug, preferably, that help tie it together, and then use your decorative accessories like your pillows also to unify it. And then mix up your patterns a little bit. So you can see I found this cool little bench that's a stripe, which kind of plays against the abstract aspect of the rug and then the patterns in the pillows. But you don't want to have, that polka dot and then the cross pattern look either that looks too prescribed or manufactured. So I found the couch for a song for $165 at a vintage store. I repurposed the tables in here, these myrtle wood, which I don't just love, but it's kind of an Oregon thing. And then moving along, I'll move you towards the dining room area that's right in the living room. I positioned 4 pieces above the dining room table. I really love this dining room table because it does have a stainless steel top, so it's pretty indestructible for tenants. And then I just found a funky old desk chair that's all wood. Bought it for a song at a garage sale, and then had a nicer chair inside my house that was just taking up space, so I brought it over here. And then I found this really cool bench for underneath this window here. I just love it. It looks kind of weather worn and just has such a nice shape to it. And then hid some cords with a basket, and this basket could be used for pillows and books. And then there is a little fireplace, so the mantle really does add some interest in the room. So I found a mirror for $10, and I went ahead and bought a small little plant from the hardware store with a small pot. And then I bought this very cool candle that actually lights up. You just press down on it and it lights up and keeps your walls nice and fresh instead of using candles and getting the walls misted with black. And then I really like the idea of blown glass or glass pieces, so I picked up these pieces at a vintage store. The home has the original hardwood floors, which I just love. It's so 1940s, 1950s. And the kitchen does have linoleum, but it doesn't look too bad. Eventually I may replace that. The carpentry was all done, as well as the countertop when I bought the place. So I'm not too sure if I will reinvest in the kitchen for such a small home. But we did knock out this one door in the kitchen, and then there is this little drop down place that leads out to the backyard, and then there's a window out to the front. So I may put like a small, very narrow table in there at some point. Could be kind of fun to have a little coffee in there. And here we go. So here's another angle of the living room, just so you can see. Looking around. And I am planning to put plantation shutters in the living room to replace the mini blinds in this window here and this window here. And then I'm planning to use the thick, full, like I think it's like 2-inch wooden blinds in the other rooms. And I think the blinds will also give it a nice lift. Between the paint job and a luminescent white with this very kind of creamy trim and the combination of the new shutters, it's really going to spice it up. In the little hallway alcove, you can see it leads to a bathroom to the right, a bedroom straight ahead, and then a second bedroom here. There's a little art piece that I did. It's kind of a mixed media piece. So hope you can see that without too much glare. And this room here is really kind of a fun multi-purpose room. It's got a futon couch bed in it, and you can see that all the artwork in here is original. These 3 pieces to the left are mine, kind of playing off of the earth in balance, the earth on fire. And then I have the one that's kind of about the earth in ice from our early beginnings. And then a great piece from a friend of mine who lives up in Humboldt, and found this really cool vintage lamp at an antique store, framed a couple little prints that I really liked, that I just really love actually, and decided just to spice up the room a little bit with some black and white. Don't feel so inclined to make everything so matchy. And then I had this really cool little table. It was really actually a tall dining table. But I thought, you know what, this is so perfect for a stand-up desk, or the tenant can move it out into the living room if they decide to host a little party and they need a little more seating area, excuse me. And then I have this very cool chair that I have had for many, many years that I still love. And this rug I'm not crazy about, but I thought, what the heck, it looks nice in here. And then here we go with this little alcove at the end of the room, which is so nice because it is actually a vanity table, or it could be used as a desk for a laptop, would be perfect. And then I put a little plant in there. I put some original artwork in there. And so I'll now just do some close-ups of the artwork. And these final 2 are a little more landscape oriented, whereas the 2 at top are more abstract in terms of landscape or water. So it's fun to kind of mix it up. Don't feel that they all have to go together perfectly as a series. With art, it's really important to think that way. In fact, on this wall, I had 3 of these pieces that I'm showing right now, but it looked kind of funny down below. So I used this piece instead, and I had already put the tack in the wall. So maybe a piece shouldn't even be there, but I thought, oh, what the heck. I think it still kind of works, and it kind of counterbalances the other piece just fine. So I'm still debating whether to put that other piece back or continue to use that other one. And I'll show you, here it is in the bathroom. It's just above the basin. And just bought a new toilet, so that made a nice difference. An old vintage mirror. And shower curtain for now, but it will be replaced with doors eventually. And then last but not least, this is the master bedroom. A fresh mattress purchased for the tenant. I think that is important unless you cover it with a pillow top protector, and I provided one to him so that he can do so. And then a very nice lamp that I'd originally bought for the living room, but decided it was a great fit in here. So I really like that. And then I bought that wonderful little end table for a song. It was painted kind of funky, so I touched it up. And then I found the matching basket for the room. I had to touch that up as well with some white paint. And then this is a big modern piece that I had done that I think is really good for this room because it is a large wall. And I encourage you for larger spaces to make sure that you use a larger piece. You don't want everything in the home to be small in terms of artwork. Really mix it up and make sure that you use the art as that starting point. Be art centric. So that is pretty much the end of my story of the little vintage cottage along the coast of Oregon in the wonderful town of Bandon. I hope you can pay a visit sometime if you've never visited. And I hope you have benefited from a few of the tips that I provided today. Please feel free to reach out to me. Contact information is available in the descriptor, and I would be more than happy to provide you with a complimentary consultation on your office or home interior, and also work with you in the acquisition of fine art. Thank you again for joining me. Thanks for subscribing, liking, and commenting.